Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Lewis.
And I'm Kyle Clark. Aurora police shot and killed a man this afternoon. Officers say he was carrying a rifle near a school and housing for sick kids. 9 News reporter Janelle Finch breaks down what led up to the deadly shooting.
Aurora police officers say officers responded to calls of a reported fight just before 2 p.m. When they arrived, they found a man holding a large gun. APD says he didn't listen to orders to drop the weapon, and an officer shot him.
A man is dead after Aurora police say an officer shot and killed him near Oswego and Colfax. APD says a caller reported a fight between two men outside Brent's Place, a temporary home for kids getting treatment at Children's Hospital.
The reporting person, the community member, stated that the fight has been ongoing and it's been escalating. And then at some point during this initial broadcast or this initial telephone call, the fact that a AR assault weapon was produced.
Witness video shows the man walking across the street with the weapon in hand. Aurora Police Chief Todd Chamberlain says officers found the man carrying the large gun in the parking lot across from Brent's Place.
The officers stopped their vehicle. They approached that individual. They made several contacts with the individual verbally to have him drop his weapon. At that point, gunfire was exchanged by the officers towards the individual with the weapon, and the individual fell to the ground.
APD says the man was taken to the hospital where he later died. Investigators believe the man did not fire his gun at any point. Chamberlain says where this incident happened is a major concern.
We have a large location that's used for children that are going to receive medical help across the street. Just down the street behind us is a school. Again, that's very alarming to see that environment and then to see individuals that are walking around in this environment involved in arguments with an assault-type style weapon.
Police did not initiate a shelter-in-place or lockdown for the nearby school. The officer involved has been placed on leave.
This evening, Brent's Place issued a statement that neither of the men involved were residents or staff. The VP of External Affairs says staff did see the fight escalate and called 911. Brent's Place says it is cooperating with law enforcement and supporting its community through this incident. In the studio, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
The father of a teenage boy charged in the killing of a bar employee in downtown Denver has now been arrested as an accessory to that crime.
Authorities arrested Stephen Marquez. This incident happened, they arrested him Friday after a probable cause statement accused him of driving his son to Wyoming to hide out after the killing. These documents show Denver police alleged he helped his son avoid arrest and lied to investigators after the shooting that initially happened on July 10th at Federalis at 29th and Larimer. Todd Kidd, a bouncer there, was shot trying to break up a fight. He died a few days later. Marquez's son, who 9 News isn't naming because of his age, has been charged with first-degree murder. Marquez has been released on bail. He's due in court October 14th. His son is scheduled to appear the next day.
Got a bit of a break from the heat today. Much cooler across Denver thanks to a cold front coming through. Warming back up tomorrow, though, and that means increased fire danger moving into the weekend, Lauren.
That's right. We did cool off today. We saw those highs maxing out near 70 degrees around Denver, but it stayed very dry and very sunny. As the temperatures creep back up, we're going to continue to watch for that increased fire weather danger. In the meantime, we do have our latest look at the drought monitor, and you can see Denver is in a severe drought, the rest of the Front Range in a moderate drought, and we're seeing similar conditions across the eastern plains. So we're going to continue to wait for more water to get into the forecast, but it's not coming in the next 7 days at least. So in the meantime, we do still have fire weather alerts. We have red flag warning that'll go into effect tomorrow, and then the larger portion, including Denver, this tan area, will be under a fire weather watch for Saturday. So over the next few days, we're going to continue to watch for this warm, dry weather to stick around. We do have some hazy conditions in store for tomorrow. That's going to be due to wildfires in neighboring states. But as we go into Saturday, we're going to watch for that fire weather watch to go into effect and more sunny, mild temperatures return for next week. I'll have all of those details for you in my full 7-day forecast coming up.
Tonight, CBI is asking for your help finding a missing woman out of Denver. Authorities say Saloma Mann was last seen in the Denver area back in June. The 28-year-old hasn't been in touch with her family since then, and they're worried for her safety. If you see her, call the Denver Police Department or dial 911.
Her reputation at this point is poor because of what you've done here and after. Your lies are well documented, and these convictions are serious. I'm convinced you would do it all over again if you could. You're as defiant as a defendant as this court has ever seen.
Elections have consequences, and so does breaking the law in search of election rigging. Tina Peters sentenced today to 9 years in her election tampering case. Colorado's best-known election denier, the former Mesa County clerk, Republican, was defiant until the very end, arguing with the judge at sentencing, bringing a parade of fellow election conspiracy theorists to defend her.
Our Mark Salinger was in court in Grand Junction where Peters laughed at prosecutors, lectured the judge, then was led away in handcuffs.
Tina Peters is now in custody of the Mesa County Sheriff's Office. She was led away from the courtroom earlier today in handcuffs by sheriff's deputies. Before that, she stood in front of the court for about 40 minutes, pleading to the judge that he give her a more lenient sentence. She was asking for probation, but he gave her 9 years of incarceration. At times she was crying, saying that she didn't deserve to go to prison, but she still maintained the entire time that she did nothing wrong in allowing conspiracy theorists access to the county voting equipment to try and prove voter fraud. She was defiant in court today, and that seemed to hurt her. At times she got into arguments with the judge on the bench. Eventually he sentenced her to 8.5 years in prison and 6 months in the county jail. The judge said her constant lies should have consequences.
There are many things in my mind that are crystal clear about this case. You are no hero, you abused your position, and you're a charlatan who used and is still using your prior position in office to peddle a snake oil that's been proven to be junk time and time again.
County commissioners testified today that all those lies and conspiracy theories that Tina Peters peddled cost Mesa County $1.4 million. As far as we've seen all across the country, this is one of the strictest sentences that we've seen so far for any election tampering cases. In Grand Junction, I'm Mark Salinger, 9 News.
New court documents reveal James Craig, the former dentist in Aurora charged with poisoning and killing his wife, planned to make it look like she framed him for her own death. Documents show Craig tried to convince another inmate to help him. He wanted that inmate to find 1 or 2 women who would lie and say they had an affair with Craig to create a narrative that his wife Angela found him cheating and that Angela wanted to frame him for her death. In exchange, Craig would give his would-be accomplice's mother free dental work. Craig is also charged with trying to convince one of his own daughters to cover up evidence. Angela Craig died in March of 2023 after drinking a poisoned protein shake. James Craig's trial is scheduled to begin December 2nd, and that's 2 days after his jury selection. The next hearing is scheduled for October 15th.
This weekend, a family in Greeley will lay their parents to rest. Investigators say a teenage driver crashed into him head-on. It happened last Monday on Highway 34 near Wiggins. State Patrol says Sandy and Floyd O'Dowd were hit when an 18-year-old tried to pass a group of cars. Driver shifted lanes, crashed head-on into the couple's vehicle. They died at the scene. Their daughter Angel was in the car at the time of the crash and is now recovering.
It's bad enough that I have to deal with emotional pain from, losing both of my parents, but also having to go through a long road of recovery to get back on my feet.
Colorado State Patrol says a third car was also involved in the crash, and the O'Dowds hope that the 4 survivors in that car will reach out to them to connect. As for the teenager suspected of causing the crash, CSP says charges are pending.
Today, the city of Greeley kicked off preliminary operations in its Real-Time Information Center. It's a state-of-the-art public safety initiative and the first of its kind in northern Colorado. The Real-Time Information Center will provide data and technology to Greeley police responders so they can plan and deploy appropriate resources, respond more effectively to emergency situations, and when necessary, quickly identify and locate missing individuals or criminal suspects. The center will house multiple forms of technology the city already uses, things like drones, camera feeds, and license plate readers to sync up video feeds of public spaces in Greeley. For now, operations will take place in a temporary location on Greeley's west side. In 2025, the center will continue to scale up and move into a permanent home next door to Greeley Police Headquarters about mid-year. City Council has approved using current public safety tax funds for construction, which is budgeted to cost about $1.5 million.